Chat, here we go. We got Nass versus Toxiic. Nass has been on quite the run. Literally 4 show matches straight. And we're going to make it 5 show matches straight by having him play again. And what does he do other than dominate the guy who's known for his kickoffs right away by dunking the ball over the top of him and into the net? Now, to be fair, Toxiic was trying to delay a kickoff. Bit of a cheeky move from him. And it's not going to work out this time. But it's going to be a great start for Nass. Now, Nass has never lost, so we're trying to find where are the limits. He's not currently on the top 100 leaderboard, yet he has proven that he is a high-level ones player. Look at this fake to not take the musty and then instead go for the aerial shot on the bounce, keeping Toxiic busy throughout the entirety of that setup. But Toxiic is looking really good himself. Toxiic is normally very highly rated on the 1v1 leaderboard, but also has played tons and tons of show matches, and most recently played yesterday. I think my video will be much longer after Johnny's video, so I think we can safely mention that result. Toxiic did beat Moxie 3-1. He beat Moxie in what is a very impressive result for Toxiic. Moxie is regarded as not just one of the best 1v1ers in Europe, but one of the best 1v1ers in the world. You could say he is the best, and you wouldn't be that ridiculous. I think there's definitely an argument to be made for Moxie, but Toxiic beat him yesterday. So he's going to show that Nass will be no match for him because, well, Nass has played a few top players in terms of their 1v1 rank. He hasn't really played anyone who's been dominating the show matches recently. He started with Scrub. Scrub, of course, at one point did dominate show matches. He's always a high-level ones player, but not really the top of EU right now. Then he played Ahmad, the Iraqi Ahmad, who is kind of new to the scene. Dark, the Saudi youngster who likes to pogo, who's also very new to the show match scene. But both very high-rated ones players, but he beat them both. And then the only player to take a game off of him so far is his own teammate, Rai, who's also a high-rated, like 28 to 30-ish rated ones player. So tons of high-rated ones players on the leaderboard that Nass has been able to handle. But this will probably be his first big test against somebody known to not just be good in ones in ranked, but also dominate show matches as well, because Toxiic is certainly a long-tenured show match 1v1er. So this will certainly be quite the hype event if Nass were to, or Nass, it's Nass, by the way, according to his own admission. Nass is able to get this win. Should you sub, Fishy? I mean, obviously, right? Oh my goodness, how about you sub for Nass? You go to Nass's channel, NessRL_ if you need. I think that's what his Twitch channel is. As he pops this into an air dribble and uses the reset right as he grabs it to sling it inside the far post. Are you streaming? All right, now you've got me worried that you can't see what's on screen. But maybe you're asking if it's live, and that is true. It is live. I can read your messages as you type them. Toxiic going for the quick shot. Crossbar down. He's going to get credited with a shot, but Nass not credited with a save, and I think that's because the ball actually wasn't headed in. It had already hit the crossbar and been on its way out. What a nice fake from Toxiic to tie up the game. Nass turning to Shadow, thinking about the reverse challenge. And even doing that for a slight moment makes it so that as he tries to regain speed going forward, he is arriving way too late to the play. Toxic's able to punish that poor defensive maneuver from him. And the defense for Nass has been the strong suit. He has just done such a good job of cleaning up the plays on his half, which has been the blue half for pretty much every game he's played, because he's been able to pick his color for most games. And then Toxiic actually picked today, but Toxiic picked orange, so Nass gets to continue to rock the blue. Toxiic, 18 boosts. He's going to use it just to launch a flick, high arcing one that he knows Nass will be forced into the air to get the save. Should buy him some time to get a couple hundred boost steals. In fact, he got the back corner and the midfield, and Nass must not have realized, because Nass drove into that corner like it was going to spawn. But any player who's played as much as him and saw Toxiic get the steal would know that nothing was nowhere close to spawning. Toxiic, soft reset, far away from the net. Nass should be able to just sit and react, which he does. Now Toxic taking it right back at him. An arrow dribble and a 50 and a fourth. Toxic has done a good job of maintaining possession. He has not been scoring on his first attempts, but he's never given up the ball and just keeps going back again and again and again until Nass finally breaks. And that wave dash kickoff is not it, luckily for him. Toxic not rushing the ball directly to the net. Instead, he wants the wall to air dribble. This reset doesn't turn to much, but he actually tries to fake Nass, who covers the resulting musty flick that comes eventually. And now it's a bounce dribble with only 12. Actually almost made something out of it. Really a position that he should not have been able to score from, but now on a high bounce. Chips it over the top of Toxic, who bumped him, but it's not going to matter. He gets to the ground earlier than Toxic does. That was the only thing that was important. Toxic, not enough boost left over, or really, not even mattered, even if he did have boost, to push himself straight down to the ground. I think Nass still would have beat him there. Didn't this guy win against Moxie? I think you didn't spell Moxie's name right, but yeah, so what a save. Actually a very impressive save from Nass, not to let Toxic get that quick kickoff goal. In fact, he's prevented most kickoff goals from Toxic. But, oh no, Toxic! Oh my goodness! I can't believe it! He choked it away. I was about to talk about how that was basically a kickoff goal because he made a quick outplay and then a power slide cut to get a free net. But then he didn't take it. He wanted to either waste a bit more time or slightly style on Nass. So he took his sweet time and then slammed it off the post instead of in. And now it's 4-4 with 30 seconds left to go. That could be a toss of the entire game if Toxic is unable to score. He doesn't have a ton of boost right now. So he's going to go soft flick again and in for the boost steal. But the thing for Toxic is he has done a great job at keeping Nass pinned on the back wall, even when his first attempt isn't the best. Now an air dribble. This time, Nass's 50 does save it away. He's going to take a trip out to midfield to pick up the 100. That's going to guarantee Toxic goes all the way back to net. These bounce dribbles and hook shots from Nass have been good in his 1v1 tenure on my stream, but he's going to flick this over the top, and it will slam back down to the ground. So overtime, having to take Toxic on a kickoff here with the game on the line. Wave dash kickoff for Toxic. And now Nass trying to find a way to score with zero boost. This flick is good enough to earn him a boost steal. But can he stay on top of the ball without letting Toxic get a shot opportunity? Doesn't seem like he will, as Toxic booms it downfield. Now Toxic the one regaining boost and retreating back to his half, trying not to get exposed, but I think he succeeded in doing so. In fact, Nass is going to back off huge from this play and let Toxic have a ton of space. Toxic is known, I mean, it doesn't even matter. I was going to say Toxic is known for his flicks, and maybe that's why Nass went up and in his net, but I mean, he just made it as easy as possible for Toxic in a couple different ways. The first being just leaving the ball completely at a time when Toxic didn't really have control. And then when he finally makes it to the net, Nass goes in and out of the net, which just makes a slow roll be absolutely free. So Toxic will be the second person to get a game off Nass here in this game number 1. Game number 2. Nass kept it close, forced it into overtime before Toxic took the win. Now, what can Nass do with a second chance at him? Toxic pre-jumping the save, didn't actually touch the ball, but actually prevented Nass from taking any sort of shot attempts. So while it may have seemed like a big whiff for Toxic, it was a very crucial defensive play. Now Nass used a ton of boost to get this 50, and Toxic is going to land in a much better spot, but Nass gets more speed as he had started from behind, but got a couple flips in before Toxic landed. He's going to use that extra speed to redirect this one away. Now Toxic doesn't want the bounce to air dribble. Instead, will catch and flick. Nass get an easy enough save, but Toxic tried to go for a cheeky angle that Nass would not have been able to get back to. Couldn't find it. And I like these bounce dribbles from Nass. Even though this one is going to result in, I thought it was going to be a goal in his net. They actually did a good job covering most angles, so Toxic shot wide. I haven't seen a ton of players use the bounce dribble like Nass has in his 1v1 games. Not in a while, at least. I think it's still a very high-level tactic. Nass is trying to show that right now. Couldn't get this 50 on the goal line with Toxic, and now has to race back to the ball. A decent clear. Look at the aggression. He has a boost advantage, so I really like this aggression from this position. Toxic Actually, Toxic has 58. Man, I don't know what. Maybe he didn't have an advantage. But he definitely saw that Toxic was awkward and could be punished with an early turn and challenge. No one talks about Card from Furia. He's in top 20. Set him up for a show match. I've actually talked to Card a little bit. He accepted my friend request, and I've asked him a couple times to play, and we just haven't figured it out yet. One time he said, like, oh, you'll need to wait till tomorrow. And then a couple other times he was maybe busy, didn't respond. But eventually I want to get a Card match. I think Card's a really good 1v1er based on what I've seen in other people's ranked streams. Oh, look at this shot from Toxic. Give him the goal. He needs it for the clip. A nice reset. Such a slow motion reset. And then rips the musty. Toxic, wow, what a recovery. To get underneath that ball and pop it above where Nass could shoot it. Now a huge flick. Oh my goodness, Toxic. What a boomer of a shot. Nass tried to pre-jump and get up to block this angle. 118 km/h flick from that far out. My goodness. There is not much you can do. Nass just needs to chalk it up, go next. After a flick like that, hope that Toxic can't do that consistently, because otherwise you don't really stand a chance. The problem is Toxic is known for his flicks. I'd expect to see at least a couple more great ones like that. Now Nass can't recover back as Toxic is able to just lob this one downfield and force Nass to recover from what was a pretty close, challenging position at the midfield. Whenever a defender is a bit too close, sometimes it's a good idea to just accelerate the ball and then have them kind of panic recovering. Even if they do get a save, it likely results in a very poor save you can follow up, which Toxic has had no problem doing so far this series. This Nass dribble is going to turn into absolutely nothing, not even a boost steal. A Toxic, who has actually played a bit more of the aerial game than I expected to see from him so far, will take back down to the ground. This carry results in a couple wave dashes and a shot that Nass easily takes away, but Nass not able to get his own corner boost means he's going to be wall dashing around the field in an attempt to stay in this play. Toxic being very patient because he knows Nass is sitting on that back wall with 0, so as soon as he flies past the ball and doesn't make a perfect touch, Toxic's going to be able to score. But the problem is Nass has done a good job, and he actually might have escaped his half entirely. Toxic passed to himself off the sidewall. Probably was hoping to punish Nass had he come in and challenged too aggressively in that corner, but Nass did camp and wait in the midfield. Nass now trying to get a tight turn. Could not get it fast enough. The wind condition there was a really quick catch turn before Toxic makes it back to net, but wasn't even really close to doing that. Toxic, this flick too high. He's got to take this all the way back into his half. So Nass going to have an opportunity to pick up midfield boost. Needs to find a bit more offense. His aggression before worked out for him in the past. He's trying to chase Toxic down, and he does force Toxic into the air. Toxic, a nice bump. Now the recovery, they're going to bump each other back. Toxic has prevented Nass from getting that goal. Nass is going to backflip off this challenge as he sees Toxic with low boost, using everything he has to tap the ball away. It means a possession is waiting for him out at the midfield. He just rushes there. Gets there first. So now Nass is going to not take the wall dribble. Instead, the ground to air. Toxic is up so early and will turn it into a 4th goal. I mean, for Nass, he needs to set up a wall to air dribble so much farther away. He either needed to take the wall to air dribble or he needed to not go for a dribble, because trying to set up that ground dribble as close to the net as he did makes it very easy for Toxic to pre-jump and get over the top of it. Now Toxic's going to half-flip kickoff, and Nass falls right for it. So Toxic, who just needs to waste a bit more time to ice out this game number 2, is going to get demoed. So the dream is alive for the Nass fans, but it is not super likely that he'll be able to get 2 more. Is this top 100? It is. It is indeed. Toxic's going to get another 50 at the midfield. that Ness is forced to take. Toxic knows it. He can prep, get the right play. Is Toxic English? He is. And I think yesterday we decided Ness is Moroccan but lives in Belgium. 2-goal game. Doesn't really look that way, or doesn't really feel that way for everyone who watched it. But the first one was an OT game. Second one, 2-goal. Toxic is starting to pull away just a bit more. Can Ness come back and get a reverse sweep? Feer, can you make graphic settings high quality? Wait, is there something on stream that isn't high enough quality for you? I think I have it on custom or whatever, right? It depends. I'll have to check the video settings. Ness, ooh, should have scored there. Didn't get a good enough touch. I think maybe a side flip would have done it. Now he's going to have to try and prevent his own goal, which he did at least partially, but Toxic has him in a really tough position now. So I'm surprised if Ness is able to make it out of this, and he is not. The air dribble bump will finish it off. So you were saying you want something to be high quality. Everything's high quality. I'm confused. Did Ness 3-0 everyone yesterday? No, he did not. He only 3-1 Rye. But he is, before today's show match, he was 12 or 9. No, 4 games. Yeah, 12 and 1 in games. Turn the fancy graphics on. No, I think the fancy graphics don't necessarily make it look better. Oh my goodness, that was almost the nastiest own goal I've ever seen. Toxic with the backwards pinch into the ceiling and then into his net. Not a great 50 for Ness. Really did not get a good position on the ball at all. Toxic knows he's going to have Ness taking his air dribble that he just set up for him, but hard to protect that lateral of an air dribble the whole way to the net. Ness not quite able to. He has never backed down from these full field dribbles though, despite them not really coming with much success. Huge long shot from Toxic. Gonna force a ton of boost out of Ness. Push him back into net and make him play with 0. But the problem is Ness is comfortable on 0. And he'll launch a shot from the wall. Toxic was hoping to take the ball out of a shooting position, but he actually made it way more shootable. No way Ness was going to be able to launch a shot the whole field if he had to do it from the ground with 0 boost. But rolling it up that sidewall right where he could keep his supersonic momentum was an ideal situation for Ness. Toxic air dribble fake. He even used the reset. I guess if he didn't use the reset, he probably, Ness that being, would probably have landed in time. Ooh, I don't know. I think Ness was screwed either way. But still, impressive use of the reset. He means the graphics of the scoreboard. Oh, wait. The scoreboard is amazing. What are you talking about? Ness. Hard enough flick to force Toxic into net. Has the potential of turning this into something, but could not. Toxic escapes into his corner. And now we'll take an air dribble. Likely headed to the ground before he makes it to the goal line, or he can try to go for a reset, but I wasn't expecting that because this is kind of the result that I figured would come from any sort of low reset from that position. Normally, players would play that a bit more safe, try and go for a goal line 50. Just not a ton of movements. That is surprising on that kind of setup. Toxic looking for a pinch. Able to get to the ball before Ness. I think Ness was eyeing a long shot. He thought, oh man, Toxic made a mistake here with this really weak pinch. I'm ready to just boom this all the way to the net. But the problem was Toxic had a plan B for when the pinch didn't work. And that was a very speedy recovery back to the ball. He's able to outplay Ness for a third. Oh, it's going to be a fourth too. Toxic direct kickoff goal. The kickoff goal is catching up to Ness now. So hard to get comebacks against these players who have such solid kickoffs. Every goal you score just puts you right back at the strength of your opponent. It's always been the case for guys like Toxic, KV1. Moxie has been credited for his kickoff as well. It can be really tough to make comebacks on those guys. Nass is a great hook shot. See, I like the bounce dribble hook shots for Nass. They have been a great tool for him. A slight wave dash to set it up. Toxic, another clean kickoff win. Nass, nice pre-flip to get back to this ball, but now he's stuck in net with 0. Toxic's just going to try and muscle it through. And Nass does have time to pick up corner boost now. Toxic will attack through the air. Nass off the wall, awkward, and he pogos it in! Toxic just launches it low. Nass, a bit of awkward movement here, falling off the wall. And I don't know why he loves going in and out of the net, because it hasn't done too well for him, but Toxic counters it perfectly by just letting the ball bounce off of his car as he pogos. He slams it in to keep his 2-goal lead. He's been going back and forth between really just like a 3 and 2-goal lead. He's going to get back up to 3 now as he pushes Nass away. Minute 30 for Nass to get something going. Nass, strong touch off the wall. The pre-flip does get the reset. He tries to demo Toxic, who knows it's coming, so he just holds on, hits the brakes, and now Toxic has open range. Nass is trying to recover with 0 boost. He's going to have a tough time stopping Toxic, who is on form now, as he pops this to himself and keeps it at the top shelf the whole way, knowing that Nass is not going to be able to get up with his late recovery. Fake kickoff for Toxic. He has been bringing out the fakes towards the end of these games when he has the lead. He wants to continue to control possession and pace and not let Nass back into this one. Toxic, he went for another pogo. You love to see it. New pogo meta. Also, what's the difference? That's pogoing it. Is pogos when you hit the ball like Toxic did last time? I know that the freestyle community calls Plan B when you slam off the ground without touching the ball, and then, or is Plan B when you get underneath it? Is Plan B what Toxic did basically, but you keep dribbling it? Because I guess in freestyling, you basically aren't allowed to take the ball to the ground, right? You have to pop it on your car. Otherwise, I imagine the community would say that is not the same shot. Plan B is what Toxic did. Yeah, okay. Pogo is when you let the ball bounce. Okay, pogoing is you just let the ball bounce, not off your car. Plan B is when you keep it in the air the whole time, which basically only freestylers are doing because they have 1 trillion boost. You know, they have infinite boost to work with. I don't know if we'll see 1v1ers doing pogos. I think pogos cost a ton of boost, but I could be wrong about that. Nass, slow bounce dribble. Toxic able to really blow it out here in the final minutes. Done a good job of handling his leads and guaranteeing them all the way down to the final second. 8-4 for Toxic. Looking good. Handled Moxie not long ago. A high level 1s player. And also handling this newcomer on a hot streak with ease.